Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to another episode of Footprints. I'm your host, Mr. Davis. I'm the educator at BHS. And joining me today on today's episode is a gentleman who actually kind of got me started in this, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we get along. Let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Thomas, principal of Beverly High School. Thank you for hanging out with us today, Mr. Thomas.
Thanks very much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Well, listen, I appreciate you coming in. So I usually ask this of all my guests. I'm going to ask you as well.
Sure.
Right off the bat. Tell us something about yourself that's nobody knows. It's kind of quirky, could be funny.
Well, very few people know that I used to have a nice full set of hair.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't know if that's secret. You have to look at some old pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
It hasn't been around for a while.
I love it.
I think something that people don't know about me is, in my role, I end up having to talk a lot and run meetings and that type of stuff. But I'm generally a pretty quiet, reserved person, and so I might not appear that way on.
Okay, no, I guessed that about you. All right, off the bat. So that's a good thing. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. Rapid fire question. So
Sure.
The first thing that comes to your mind, I want you to just say whatever it is.
Oh boy, all right.
Okay. What's your favorite cafeteria food?
Oh, it's got to be tacos.
Tacos? Not on Tuesday either, right? Or maybe.
Any day. Any day.
What's your hallway jam? Your favorite go-to pump-up song?
I'd say, going back to my high school days, anything by AC/DC.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. Now we're learning a little something about Mr. Thomas here.
Yep.
I'm digging AC/DC myself.
Going to see them in the spring, actually.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's oh man. Now see, you're taking me back again. I like that, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. Detention or extra homework, and why? What's the better punishment?
For me, if I was getting punished,
yeah.
I'd say if it was something like math, then I'd say homework for sure.
For sure.
To get that done before I'd be out of detention.
No doubt. Okay. Most used phrase during the school day.
Students.
We know those students. All right. If you had a walkie-talkie nickname, what would it be?
It would be, oh gosh, that's a quick answer, huh?
Quick answer.
So let's say, oh wow, you got me.
I got you on that one? Walkie-talkie nickname.
I don't know. Let's say
Macho Mark.
Yeah, sure.
We'll take that one.
Yeah.
All right. What's the best school spirit day theme?
So I'm always a fan of the Panther Pride days.
Oh, I love
it. Those are the best.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The other ones are fun, but when you bring the Panther Pride one back, and it's shows our school spirit. So
we love that.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, what is the best school spirit day?
Oh, it's day before Thanksgiving.
Easy. Yeah, we're in the rallies, having a good time, and then it's the Thanksgiving Day game.
Lead up to the game.
Oh, we love that.
Yep. Get to celebrate all our students' accomplishments in the pep rally, so it's great.
Okay. One thing students think is cool, but really isn't.
Pertaining to school?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's some myths out there, I think, that traditions that students think exist that really don't.
Yeah.
So that's always funny to hear.
For sure.
I always have a laugh with them when they become seniors. We heard this, we heard that.
All right. What's the most creative excuse you've heard from a student?
Oh gosh, that's a long list. I've been around a long time.
There's some good ones.
Yeah.
Besides, my dog ate my homework.
Honestly, I get a laugh out of any student that can kind of laugh at themselves, when you can. I've been around long enough to know some excuses, and so you kind of laugh at them. And when the student laughs too, you kind of say, all right, this is all right.
We got it. All right. How about if you had to pick a school subject to teach, what would it be?
If it was a subject for me, I'd say probably math. It was my favorite subject in school.
Math?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a math guy.
Yeah, you're a humanities guy.
Yeah, I'm a humanities. My wife's a math person. She's into all of that.
There you go. Good compliment.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Last thing. What is one thing you secretly love about being a principal?
I love being able to guide the school for the better. And, you know, it sounds like a cheesy answer, but you know, as you move into administration and kind of step up in those different areas, you really kind of say, okay, I can have some influence on where the school as a whole goes. And I come from a background that was very individualized. I work, as an adjustment counselor. You're working with students on their individual personal stuff, and so now it's more of like a macro look at everything. So you're really influencing the school as a whole.
Okay, all right.
So.
I love that answer. Okay, Mrs. Thomas, have any siblings?
I do.
Okay.
An older sister and a younger brother.
Older sister and younger brother. So that means you're the middle guy.
That means I'm the middle guy.
It's just kind of like me.
Yep.
So I have an older brother, a younger sister, and a younger brother. So I guess that kind of makes me the middle guy.
You're somewhere in the middle.
So, somewhere in there, yeah. Married, sir?
I am.
How long?
Let's see, so 2010, so coming up on year 15.
Wow, 15. So I got 34 years in.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm an old vet with the 7 kids. You know what I mean? Do you have any children, by the way?
I do.
How many?
3.
3. Boys, girls? Of course, boys and girls.
2 girls and a boy. Yep.
2 girls and a boy. So we've learned something new about Mr. Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. All right, he's just like us, right? He's got siblings. He has children. He's married.
That's right.
Any pets, sir?
No, not a pet guy.
Not a pet guy?
Yeah, I could have used that as my little known fact, although people that know me know that. So.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hobbies, anything particular that you like to do when you're not hanging out as the principal at Beverly High School?
Yeah, I mean, anything active and outside, that's my big thing. In the winter, it's skiing, love skiing.
Okay.
In the typical, warmer weather stuff, beach and being outside and, hiking or whatever.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm not really a beach guy. I used to be when I was younger, but I don't know, me. As I got older, I just kind of went away from it.
I could be there for hours. I'm pretty happy.
I got to share something funny with you. So I live in Gloucester. My wife is from Gloucester, and when I first met her, it's like, oh, that's the home of the Gorton's fishermen and all that, right?
Yep.
And fun fact, my wife does not eat fish, being from Gloucester, and her grandmother used to own a restaurant, which is kind of nutty. There you go.
It's a tough area of the country not to eat seafood, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
We love it. All right, let's talk a little bit about your leadership and vision. So how would you describe your leadership style as opposed to anybody else's?
When I think about my leadership style, I'm someone who definitely takes in a lot of information from people and like to look at all the angles. And I don't think I'm a quick decision maker, but when I've made a decision, I'm pretty definitive on it. And, but I do like input from people that that fall into a category of where I value their opinion, and I do a lot of listening, and that helps me kind of making good informed decisions and looking at stuff from all angles, and you really have to. And it's something where I get into a lot of conversation with people where this might be good for one person or a small group of people within the school, and I have to be looking out for the school as a whole. So sometimes that always doesn't line up exactly the same.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So your vision for the school is a lot different, I'm sure, than anybody else's, but we're all trying to strive to get to the same spot. And so I love the fact that you're doing that. You're guiding us in a way where we know, hey, we can trust Mark and we understand his decisions and we live with those, and it's a beautiful thing. Let me ask you this. What did your parents do for a living?
So shockingly, they were in education.
How about that? Huh? I couldn't see that one coming.
Yeah. My dad was a 6th grade teacher for almost 40 years.
Okay.
And and my mother was a secretary in an elementary school.
So there's the footprints, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
that
yeah.
we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Those footprints that are left on us by our parents and their career, and they influence us. Same thing with my father. He was also in education. So, and my dad was funny, man. He kind of knew I was probably going to be in education because I'd be at practice all day, and I'd come home all sweaty and stuff. And he goes, Tony, I know you've been home at practice all day, and you've been in school all day, and you've only been home for a little bit, but you know what? Today's word is fossil. I want you to use that in a sentence. I'm like, come on, Dad. What are you doing to me? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think my dad kind of knew that leadership or that vision that I had for myself as far as being an educator was going to come to fruition.
See, no, I don't think my family would have pegged me to be an educator.
Oh, really?
My background's in social work. I got into schools because to me it was the place to make the biggest impact on working with the kids that I was seeing. I was doing some outpatient work and stuff like that, but within a school, that's when you can really make an impact, when you're there all day with them. And so, you know, I talked to my parents. My sister is a high school teacher. My brother is a special ed teacher. So, you know, they all had predictable paths. Mine was a little different to get where I got to. So
everybody has had their hand and their footprint sort of imprinted on them for education purposes, like you just said. Everyone basically in your family. So that's amazing that you know that happens, because a lot of times we don't follow in the footsteps of our parents. Sometimes we do something different. But for you, you were influenced by them, and that's a beautiful thing, and we're certainly happy to have
I fought it for a while. I didn't
Yeah.
want, you know, and so
Well, you know what? Sometimes you cannot escape your destiny, right? That's what happens. My dad said to me once, sometimes a man or woman will meet their destiny on the road they took to avoid it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So sometimes that'll happen, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way to avoid it, and here you are, and we're certainly happy to have you, sir. Let's talk a little bit about school culture and student experience.
Sure.
Okay? How do you ensure students feel heard and supported? That's a tough one.
It's really not, though. I mean, it's the way I operate with adults too. Is people need to be heard, and even when you're working with your most upset parent, your most elevated student, it's their truth to what's happening, and so you have to hear them out. You have to listen to what they're saying. Like I said, it's their truth in that situation, and you're not going to make a lot of progress if you just kind of shoot that down or don't at least hear what they have to say. And so that's where I start with anyone, to be honest. And students are no different than that. They have a voice. There's 1,200 kids in our school. They should have a voice.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes it's educating them on that. Their question, their concern. There's a lot that impacts that, and you have to take the time to talk through that with them. And
for sure,
it's not as simple as saying yes or no to one simple question. And but we, as you know, we have awesome students, and
we sure do.
They are students that really love and respect when you give them the time and the opportunity to talk through things. So.
No doubt.
A lot of that.
Well, that's very important, especially in today's society and culture, right? Being able to navigate through that mental health part of it sometimes, right?
Sure.
And people need to sometimes take a step back. And I got to be honest, I'm very jealous of the way that you handle certain things, because you're
I don't
very.
hear that often. But
well, no, I am. You handle things the way that they need to be handled, and I'm very proud to come to the school every day knowing that I'm working with someone who has our best interests in heart.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment.
No, it's true, honestly. So, having said that, how do you handle a difficult conversation with students, or even teachers or parents as well?
Well, I kind of just let you in on my trick,
Yeah, I did.
So it's very similar, and like I say, you have to hear people out, and there's always room for that somewhere, and some conversations might be shorter than others, but you do have to allow for people to be able to express their concern, their worry, what they need to get off their chest, and it brings you to a common ground, and and like I say, whether it's whether it's somebody coming to tell you did a good job or someone that's telling you you didn't do such a good job, you still got to hear them out. And, you know, and that feedback is really important to how we function day to day within our school.
Oh, no question. I agree with that. I mean, I love working with my colleagues and collaborating with them, you know, on certain things. And it's great that we have the open line of communication where we can do that, where we're not on an island by ourselves and like we feel like we have to do that. No, I'm big on collaboration, always. So let's talk about a little bit of education and future trends and how things happen.
Sure.
So how has education sort of changed since you first started in this field?
Well, we were joking about social media before that. That really wasn't a thing. You know, I'm dating myself a little bit here.
Yeah, me too.
I think the emerging mental health needs, it's always been an aspect of working with high school students, but I think what we see more of now is the inability to support that outside of the school. The schools had to take on more of that support role. And so it's a strain on the system in that way. We've built ourselves differently. I'm going way back. You know, we have a very healthy counseling and support staff right now, and you know, back when I was doing it not too long ago, there was 2 of us in the whole building.
Wow.
And
my goodness.
But I will say it's not you know, talking about the 2 of us that worked on that. The needs were being met in other places, and so you had more supports in the community, and you know, we know that all that stuff is really hard to come by for families and to navigate through. So that's one piece. But when you talk about education itself, I think something that you know, COVID really shifted was it was a good thing in a sense of it opened up some lines of using more technology within education. Sure. However, I think for our teachers, it really added to what they need to do day to day. And I think now people have kind of got their legs under them on that, and they it's part of what we do. But there was a massive shift over that time.
Oh, huge.
You were with us at that time.
Yes, indeed.
And so you know that. But
Hybrid and then coming
please,
in.
It's my fault for bringing it up. I don't want to go back there.
It's a tough situation.
Yeah.
You know? And the kids came through with flying colors. I got to be honest. Some of the kids were adjusted, and some of the kids, you know, was kind of tough. And it was equally as difficult for the teachers as well and administrators. But we all kind of struggled through it. So I love this. What I'm about to tell you is these are the things that I kind of live by, the 8 powerful statements or words. And what I try to live by every day is believing in myself. And if you do that, you'll stay strong and you'll be able to have the will to finish things, right? And then you kind of dream and believe and achieve. Those are some of the things that I think that are missing today and with our young guys and gals. I think sometimes they don't think they can do that.
It looks different, right?
It does.
And so I think that's still in there. And but I think some of the influences around our students from what they see on social media and you know, there's definitely some positives to that end too, but I think you kind of put in a spot as a teen, as a high school student to what am I not doing that everyone else is doing?
Right.
And that's always been a thing for teenagers. We all know that. We've all been there, but now it doesn't stop. You know, when you and I used to go home at the end of the day, you get the respite from that stuff.
Exactly.
Right? And now it never stops, and it keeps going and going and going, and so it does put a lot of strain on them for being able to shut that off.
No doubt. But it's interesting. So as educators, we're always the sounding boards for that, right? And we're there to guide those kids through those tough times, right? And so never giving up hope and always kind of having an idea that I can make it is really an important factor in all this. Being grateful. I'm always one of those type of people. Working hard, and good things will sort of come to you. You can tell I'm a coach, right? Staying humble. That's another thing, right? Because I always tell my best players, stay humble, stay hungry, and those things will actually, good things will start to happen, right? Being kind. I think people take that really for granted, right? Because someone might be having a tough day, and your smile or your hi or hey, how's it going, could really be the thing that turns the tide for that person that day, right? And I think we need more of that. And our culture is sort of like that in BHS. I really kind of love it.
And that's something even at home we work on as a family. I drop my son off at school from time to time, and the thing we say getting out of the car, two things: be kind and work hard. And they know that. I say two things, and that's what they repeat. And so those are important to us, and that's the first thing we would ask any teacher is not how are they doing in the class, but are they kind to everybody? So that if you start there, you're going to be fine.
Oh, no question. I think that's
falls into place.
You're right, 100%. If you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, empathy is a big thing, right? And I feel like we're missing that sometimes a little bit because we don't really put ourselves in other people's positions, right? And I think
perspective taking for sure.
Without a doubt. That's one of the biggest things that I really was big on, and my parents were big on, with us coming up. Let's talk about something kind of fun right here. If you weren't a principal, what career would you have pursued?
I say this, and I've said this before. Probably the biggest regret I have about a decision I didn't make was joining the military when I was of age.
Interesting. All right, tell us that story.
Well, I mean, it's not much more of a story than I really feel like it's an important thing to represent your country and put your best forward to make the country better, and so there's a lot that goes into that. But it was funny that at the time I was coming out of high school, it was not a real popular decision, and not in a negative political climate, but more about it just wasn't an avenue many people were pursuing at that time. And shortly thereafter, 9/11, and I think everybody got pulled by that, and that was probably the closest I came to enroll. I was just getting out of college at that point.
Kind of searching for what you really wanted to do.
Yeah, but I was already in the I was already working at that point. I was out of college, but it felt like hey, like a lot of people, I need to do something. I feel like I should be doing something,
right.
And so enlisting was a real conversation I had, and never followed through. So like I say, that's a regret I definitely have. And, maybe I wouldn't ended up where I am now. Who knows?
But see, the most important aspect is you usually generally fall into the spot where you should be. Like my parents used to say to me, you got to get in where you fit in. And for that, we thank you, because the decisions you made early on in your life have led you here. And that's one of the biggest things that we can take away from our journey, our individual journeys, right? I mean, listen, the entire point of life is what? To take chances on dreams that seem crazy to most people, right? But feel like destiny to you. And that's one of the biggest things I think people miss out on, right? It's not following that dream or not following that path, right? Where you like, wait a minute, this keeps telling me something. This keeps telling me something. Should I go that way? Should I go that way? No, I'm going to go this way. And then generally speaking, it doesn't work out because you're needed over here. You're not really needed over here. And that's one of the best things I think that we can do for ourselves as we get along in this thing we call life. Let's talk a little bit about future goals and impacts. So if you could implement, say, one new policy or program to further education, what would it be?
Geez, that's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think in anyone that knows me or has worked with me knows this is an important aspect to me, and that's to give all of our students an opportunity to be successful. And so when I say that, making sure we have paths for all of our students, our students that want to go on to a 4-year college and are motivated academically and really want to gear themselves towards that 4-year college experience. And then also creating pathways more than ever. There's more ways to get to an end goal after high school. And so making sure that that's available to everybody, because everybody's kind of different in how they learn, how they experience stuff, how they get to that end goal. So,
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's the beauty of footprints too. It's like you as an educator going through the system, coming up now being a principal, you've implanted a lot of footprints on different individuals and students and administrators as well as me. And sometimes we get a little fearful of certain things, right? And we think fear is what if, right? What if that happened? What if that happened? But if we conversely think about the flip side of that, faith is, even if that happens, I'm going to do this. So that's one of the best things that we can probably do for ourselves. Because I think internally speaking, especially for the climate we're in today, it's important to be able to like yourself. And my parents used to say, when you get up in the morning, who's the first person you see in the mirror? You see yourself. So if you're good with yourself right there, you can be good when you go out into the world. And that's one of the biggest influences that my parents had on me. Those are some of the footprints they put on me, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, you should be.
You know what I mean? Let's talk about defining and sort of supporting student success, right? So what do you, well, let's put it to this. Let me rephrase that. How do you help students who are sort of struggling with academics or just something that personally, like, I don't want to be here, all that stuff? How do you help those guys or gals?
It's not a simple solution, but it's a simple answer, I guess, is finding something that's going to hook them in. And that looks so different for every person.
Right.
You know, we all know the value of athletics or fine arts or something that, you know, students get up in the morning because of that, and they go through and, you know, do what they need to do because of that.
Right.
And so, you know, when you say find a hook for somebody, that might be something as simple as an after-school job.
Yeah.
It might be a relationship with a teacher or a support person in school. And so, like I say, it looks different for everybody, but finding that hook for people and, you know, over the years, some of the best stories I have are the students that it took the longest and was the hardest road to find that hook and get it going. And you know,
question.
I you know, you hold those close to your heart because they drive you on to, you know, to do it again and do it again and do it again.
Yeah,
but,
without a doubt.
You know,
those are the stories we love, and this is why we're telling these particular stories today on Footprints. So I read it. I'm very big on quotes in Buddhism and stuff like that, and I read that Buddha said one time, "What is the difference between I like you and I love you?" And the Buddha said, "Well, when you like a flower, you just pluck it, right? But when you love a flower, you water it daily." So if you understand those two differences, right, I think you're halfway there.
Sure.
And now you kind of understand how things work, how life can be, right? And its life is kind of basically what we make it. I have this great one that I want to share with you. So this is a really good one that I try to think about a lot. So it says here, laziness kills ambition, right? Anger kills wisdom, right? Fear kills dreams. We know that. Ego kills growth, right? Jealousy kills like peace. Doubt kills confidence. Now we're going to read it right to left. Ambition kills laziness. Wisdom kills anger. Dreams kill fear. Growth kills ego. Peace kills jealousy. And confidence kills doubt. So as educators and administrators, we're instilling these particular things into our students.
Sure.
They're going to be able to navigate what's coming up, especially our seniors coming up, right? When they're now navigating and they're going to be out in the world and they're doing their thing, and when we want them to be really well-adjusted people, citizens, good citizens. Like my dad said to me before he passed away, he said, "Why do you coach basketball? What's the reason why you coach?" And I said, "Dad, it's not for the wins and losses. It's for the relationships that I build with these kids who suddenly become men." I have a kid right now who played for me last year at Pingree School, and he's at Bowdoin College, and He was Rookie of the Year. His name is Ray Cuevas. Hey, Ray, how you doing? Ray watches. And so for me, seeing that kid achieve his dream of playing college basketball, and then
that's great.
doing more than that, he had that dream, and so I was part of that, and so I was able to put those footprints on him, and he carried those with him. And that's one of the things we do as educators and as administrators. We put those footprints on our students and our educators and administrators and our colleagues, and we make sure that they're going to hopefully carry those all the way, right? That's what we do.
Right.
Okay. A couple more questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
I love this one. If you were to take your lovely wife on vacation and money were no object, where would you go and why?
I'd say definitely an island.
An island?
Yeah.
Okay.
By ourselves, we're busy like everybody else.
Oh
so
yeah, for sure.
Having the ability to get away and have no distractions and just unplug. That's very appealing to me. So I don't care about what particular island it is. It's gonna be warm,
just gonna go, right?
with sand, water, and not a whole lot of people around. So.
I like that. So I ask this question a lot, and I have to think about it myself. I guess I would go someplace warm, but my wife, she's a gambler. She loves Vegas.
Yep.
So we'd probably go to Vegas
and
just spend a whole lot of time in Vegas. By the way, we went to Vegas in 2013. Do not spend more than 5 days in Vegas, I got to tell you.
All right.
We did.
I've actually never been.
Yeah. You can lose your shirt in Vegas for spending too much time there. But it was fun. Yeah. We did enjoy it. Now, I have this last question to ask, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up a little bit. If you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, doesn't matter who, celebrity, non-celebrity, who would it be and why?
Michael Jordan, easy.
Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Okay, and why?
He's the GOAT.
He is indeed the GOAT. You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen, on Footprints, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and I concur with that, 100%.
Interesting guy.
Interesting guy indeed. I had a pleasure to meet Michael Jordan and a bunch of other basketball players. I met LeBron James, as you know, I work for the Boston Celtics during the summertime.
Yep.
That's my summer job, and it's a beautiful thing. And I've been very blessed to have met some very nice individuals. So mine would be some sort of any basketball player that's live. But I had a quote from Nelson Mandela that was really cool, and it said, "It always seems impossible until it's done," right? And I often think about that a lot in certain situations, no matter what comes up in life, right? Because everybody's going to hit some adversity in their life, no matter what.
Right.
How do you handle it? Right? You can't dwell on the negative, right? So I've always been a guy that I try to focus on the problem, right? And then I'm like, well, that's not the right thing to do, Tony. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on the solution. Because if you put more energy into the solution, the problem seems to just go away, just dissipates, right? So it always seems impossible until it's done. And Nelson Mandela would be a guy that I would love to sit down and have dinner with and kind of pick his brain. Unfortunately, he's passed away.
Yep.
But it would have been nice to know, what happened there.
Yep.
And
be an
what
interesting guy
and
to
what
talk
would
to.
it'd be a beautiful thing, and I would definitely enjoy that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of day. It seems like it's over for us, and I've enjoyed my time here speaking with Mr. Thomas. It's been great. You can find us on where you stream all your podcasts, ladies and gentlemen, Spotify being one of them, Podbean, Pod Addict, all of those, Overcast, all of them. So find us there, Channel 8, also Channel 22. And I always ask this question, and I want you to think about it very seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, who left a footprint on you? I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.